Welcome. It's Wednesday night. It's our product experience and training call. My name is Keith Hooper. I'm here in Central California. We're joined this evening by our good friend Dr. Barry White out of Ontario, Canada. Good evening, Dr. White.
Good evening, Keith.
Well, we've got a special guest coming up in here in just a minute or so as we start tonight's call, as well as being younger next year. But, always the thing we talk about, Dr. White, the best time to start on Immunical is today.
Absolutely.
And when we go back and look at the stuff that's here, I was reading an article out of the New York Times the other day about immunotherapy and what it's doing, and the fact that they've actually been looking at immunotherapy since the late 1800s. It was very, very interesting when I was reading the article that immunotherapy, the first time it was identified was actually in the 19th century, and it was about cancer as well. And they realized that, and they understood that some people got better than others from even treatments in the 19th century, and it all depended on their immune system, Dr. White.
Yeah, and there are so many things that have been known 100 years ago that we didn't know how to capitalize on them. And so, yeah, it's coming full circle. We've been knowing about this for more than 20 years, and now the world is starting to catch up to us as well.
Yeah. So it is. So it's important to understand that, So as we talk about Immunical and Immunical Platinum, why does somebody want to be on it? They're going to live longer. The animal studies prove that. When you look at the things that Sandra and I looked at all those years ago with Immunotech, was the fact that it had a patent of use as an immunotherapy for the treatment and prevention of cancer. It had the research that said it was safe to take every day for the rest of your life, and said so by both the FDA and Health Canada, as well as the fact that the animals that were fed Immunical lived 30% longer than the ones that weren't. So it was pretty astounding. And so when we talk about younger next year, that younger next year is a catchphrase that covers so many things. Maybe it's just the fact that you've got more bounce in your step. Maybe it's the fact that you look a little bit younger. Maybe it's the fact that those little aches and pains have gone away and you kind of feel like you did a number of years ago. And in 2019, we want to talk about people feeling younger, looking younger, and getting a better quality of life out of Immunical. And to that point, we have the calls with our good friend Judy MacDonald here this evening. Judy, welcome to the call.
Welcome, Keith, and thank you very much for inviting me on tonight.
Well, you're younger than you were, a year and a half? You've been taking Immunical now, I believe, for about a year and a half or 2 years. Is that right?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. Well, shoot, you're just almost a kid now, right?
I'm almost a kid. I'm going backwards really fast.
Well, why don't you share with everybody, if you would, Judy, a little bit about Judy MacDonald, and if you would, the Judy MacDonald before Immunical.
Well, I got introduced to Immunotech or Immunical in a very out of the norm realm. Okay, a gentleman randomly phoned me one day out of the blue to introduce me to the product, and I hadn't heard of it before, as most people haven't. And after some due diligence, started to take the product. But the interesting thing about my story is I had a problem, but I didn't know it. And what I mean by that is my joints were starting to get inflamed and they were starting to get sore. And I found it irritating, so I went to my doctor, and my doctor diagnosed me as having osteoarthritis. But I honestly didn't know what it was. I just wondered why my joints were starting to get stiffer. So I didn't consider, so after getting diagnosed with osteoarthritis, my doctor says to me that I'm at that age. So in other words, it's something that is inevitable, and these are just one of the changes in life that you can expect. So nothing can be done. So sad for your luck, and away I go. So needless to say, I'd never had any health issues before that, and it was really disheartening because I've seen both my grandmothers very crippled with arthritis, and their joints were very disfigured. So it was quite discouraging to know that, and I didn't think, I wasn't that old. I was in my late 50s, to think that I was going in that direction as well. But I didn't think I had a problem. I just wondered why my joints were stiff. So after being on Immunical for approximately 3 months, those symptoms went entirely away. The inflammation went away, the pain went away, and when you talk about feeling younger, I felt like I'd already stripped 5 years off my life. Because the thing that's important to understand about, health is that you don't have to be really sick. You can just have what I call irritants, joint pain, just, being fatigued all the time. Those are health issues as well, but we don't look at those as being a health issue. So when I got on Immunical and I got those immediate results, I started to do things that I hadn't done for a while. Now, when I talk about doing things that people take for granted, like, going out for a long walk. Well, I'd go out for a long walk, but I was so sore just walking. And now I was able to do all those things again. One of my greatest days was we have a ridge that overlooks a river, and I was walking with my daughter and her family, and my grandson said, "Grandma, I want to race you." And you know what? I was able to run fairly fast for my age. So that was a really big aha moment for me. But you know what? I haven't had pain since then. And that's the shocking thing about it. So there's no looking back. Every day I feel better. Tonight I'm doing the beach body workout after we talk tonight. There's things that I couldn't do 3.5 years ago because I was too stiff and too sore. So that's basically my story.
Well, Judy, as you talked about irritants, that's what Sandra calls me often, as an irritant. But, to that point, when we talk about this now, now what we're encourage everyone to do is take a picture before they start on Immunical and Immunical Platinum particularly, because they're going to not only feel better like you are, but they're going to look younger, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. And there's that saying, when you feel better, you do better. And you can look at it. When you take Immunical, here's how you can look at it. When you're feeling good, you smile more. You wake up happier. You want to be more social. You want to do more. I mean, how many people out there, don't do social activities that they used to do just because they're too tired or they're too sore? We don't really look at the fact that just a minor health challenge can rob you of some of the joys of your life. And so these are the minimal things you get from taking Immunical. Feeling better changes so much in your life.
Right.
And
so you've been using the product for 3.5 years. And
3.5 years.
And are you more committed to the product today than you were a year ago?
Absolutely. And the interesting part about this product, there's nothing like it in the world. It's a unique product. It's a standalone. And when you get these type of results by taking this product and you're feeling good, people want to know why, what's going on. And you also want to share your story with everyone you know, because you want everybody you love and care about to feel just like you do, to feel great. So the natural progression is you start sharing with as many people as you can, and the next thing you know, you're not paying for your own product anymore. And the reason is because other people are joining you, they're feeling better, and they're passing that story forward. And they too start to get their product paid for. And that's the greatest thing about this company, is that you not only get to use the best product in the world, natural product in the world, but you have an opportunity to get it for free. And it addresses two of the most challenging things that our families face today: the income and health. Those are the two biggest problems that families face today. And Immunitech can solve both of those.
You're absolutely right, Judy. I mean, Sandra and I have been using it now for over 20 years, and it does affect both instances. But let's talk a little bit about when you're around, because we all have acquaintances, family members, and friends that have yet to come to the realization that they need to be taking Immunical. So when you're looking at them and they're looking at you now that you've been taking the product for 3.5 years, what are some of the things you're starting to notice that as far as this aging and slowing and being younger next year? How are you starting to see some of that?
You know what? I love your question. Love your question. You know, we all have those friends that we've hung around with for many, many years. You know, and those are the friends that we went to on holidays with, we joined the bowling club with, we had all the parties with, stayed up late, that kind of thing. And all the good times. Getting old sucks for a lot of us. But you know what? It really sucks when your friends get sick. Here, and I now I'm getting emotional. So I have that issue in my life right now. Some of my close friends are very sick. And yeah, so you bring the product to them. But the point here, Keith, is it's no fun when you see your friends and family getting sick. The fun's over. That's what I say.
Well, you know, Judy, that is one of the challenges, and that's why we want to talk about younger next year, because, you know, when we all have those family members or friends that, you know, they have a particularly challenging health problem, and, you know, it's very difficult to talk to them about Immunical at that point, and it's very challenging, and I've often shared the story that even with my very own mother, I would mix it up and hand it to her, and she wouldn't take it, as she was, you know, in the last stages of cancer, but she wouldn't take it. But the point is when we're looking at somebody and we're talking about that phrase of being younger next year, taking this product, having a better quality of life, more bounce in your step, because we want people to take it now. We want them to get the benefits now. I don't want to have those stories where Immunical helped me with this particular overwhelming health challenge. I'd rather take it now and never have that overwhelming health challenge. You know, I just want to be healthy up to the last 1/1,000,000th of a second of the last day I'm here, and I'd be healthy at that point. You know, and that's what we're talking about, Judy, because, you know, when you talk about using the product, and, you know, people talk about their skin, and, you know, when you're looking in the mirror and you're looking at your skin, you're looking at it today versus a number of years ago. That's why we talk everybody now. We really do challenge them. Take the pictures, put them away. We don't need to see them, but at some point in time, they'll be worth a fortune to help somebody else. And that's what we want them to do, Judy, is take those pictures now. Take the before pictures, because we weren't doing that because we were talking about all these other health concerns. But I know that, you know, that's what Sandra and I are seeing. You know, I had somebody ask me on Sunday. They said, do you have any pictures with Sandra before she started on Immunical with the melasma? You know, and I said, no, because she wouldn't let anybody take pictures like that. Okay? And we weren't expecting Immunical to have that kind of an effect. But that's what we want to do now, because it's not only going to help you feel better, you're going to look better, and that makes all your friends jealous, right?
Well, you know, this is a great point, because we look at our skin and, you know, everybody wants to look great. There's not a single person out there, male or female, that doesn't want to look fantastic. But, you know, nobody looks fantastic when their face is pale. They have no color in it. You know, when people look sickly, you can put all the makeup on that you want, but you still don't look well. If you ever get together with a room full of Immunical users, it's the most interesting view, because everybody's faces are rosy. Everybody looks healthy. Their faces are glowing. And so a sure sign of bad health, one of them, is when you're very pale. You have no color in your skin tone. And that's one of the other effects of Immunical. Your face, you radiate. You look healthy in the face.
Get that Immunical glow. Get that Immunical
That's
glow.
it.
All right. Well, thank you, Judy, for sharing that. Any more thoughts before I bring Dr. White back on? Anything else you want to share this evening? Did I go away or did you go away, Judy?
Oh, no, I'm still here.
Okay. All right.
Well,
I'm going to bring Dr. White back on. Dr. White, as you're listening to Judy, we've had 3.5 years in here with Immunical, and it's always fun to have people that have been using the product for a number of years, and some of us for a long time. I know we've got a number of people on tonight that have been using the product for 15, 20 years here with Immunotech, Dr. White.
Yeah, and the celebration, back to the glow, it's nice to be in a group of our Immunotech people. When we have our get-togethers and our meetings and so on, we take it for granted, but all of us are younger than our contemporaries, people who are our age and so on, who probably, well, in my case, they're on oxygen, they're feeble, their mind is going, and their face doesn't look very good and all the rest. And I celebrate the fact that I'm 80 and don't look it. And so we all have that to look forward to. We don't necessarily have to get, we call it decrepit like the rest of the world does.
Absolutely. So, once again, we talk about the Immunotech Glow, being younger next year, being on this product, and that's what this product does, an amazing thing for a number of people. So, once again, tonight is our Wednesday night product experience and training call, and as always, I want to put the caveats in. Immunical does not cure anything, but as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine. Simply the most important foods you can use is Immunical and Immunical Platinum. Great. You just want to use these products. You want to be on them and want to find out about them. That's what's most fascinating, I think, Judy, is as people start to use the product, start to find out about it, they make the same decision that you made 3.5 years ago. This is something that you needed to take, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So that's where we want to go with that. So, Judy, before I open the lines up, anything else you want to add before we go to the...
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was still on to talk. Sorry, I thought you were talking to the group. So, yeah. So, anyways, that just looking younger is a for sure. Taking the product for a number of years, every year you feel younger and younger. You can do more and more, and you look better. So, thank you for inviting me on tonight, Keith.
All right. All right.
Keith.
The lines are unmuted.
Hello,
so,
Keith.
Yes, Bob.
Yes, Dr. White can talk about looking good, but he's only a young fella at 80. Let's talk about old guys like me, going to be 86 next month.
86 next month. Now, you just went in the hospital. They did a little repair on the pump while they had you in there, and how's that recovery?
And they threw me out early. They're going to keep me for 2 days, but after the first day, they said everything worked out great. You're recovering well, so you may as well go home. So here I am.
So you're Bob, we talk about younger next year with this, and you're 86 years old. You've been taking Immunical now for how long?
About 9 years now.
9 years, okay. So how much younger are you today than you were 9 years ago? Quality of life.
I would say I've always been an active guy. I just haven't aged that fast as most people, because I get other friends that are in their 80s, and they slow down considerably. And my biggest problem, I move too fast. That's the problem. Sometimes, if I don't go to the chiropractor, my alignment gets off in the back, and I might do a little stumbling here and there, but it's not because of anything else. But overall, I'd have to say I am in great shape, and I've gone through, and obviously a valve thing is not a health issue. That's a mechanical thing, a genetic thing perhaps, for my parents, or both of them had severe heart problems. So considering, I probably should have been dead 5 or 6 years ago, following family tradition. But so overall, if you haven't tried it, by all means do it. And if you're thinking of not keeping it up, don't. Just keep it up. And because it's all part of if you're getting used to breathing, don't even consider not breathing.
All right, thanks, Bob. Appreciate you sharing that this evening. All right, who else has thought, comment, or question this evening?
Sally from Minnesota.
Yes. Go ahead, Minnesota.
Okay. Would there ever be a chance that the Immunical would be put into a capsule to take instead of the powder?
Great question, and the answer is no. And there's a reason for it. Is it's a live food, and so when you take that dry powder, first of all, you'd have 10 10, 15 very large capsules to get, to get there, or maybe 20 large capsules to get that amount of protein in there, and then it still has to be hydrated, okay, within the gut. So that's why it's a live food, and it has to be, liquid added to it to really make it available for the body to be able to consume it. Because otherwise, if you just took it as a capsule, you'd have this lump of stuff there. Dr. White, you want to add to that?
It would be one humongous horse pill.
Yeah. No, we talked about that years ago with Dr. Bunos, and because everybody, the biggest challenge everybody has is having that perfect product experience when they're mixing their Immunical. And we talked about, well, can we get it in a pill? And you can't. It won't work. Okay, because it won't hydrate in the gut. If you had that, first of all, you'd have the 10 or 15 or 20 tablets, whatever, and then you still have to try to hydrate it in the gut, and it's not effective at that. So that's
okay.
That's why it has to be hydrated.
And I mix it, of course, in orange juice, and of course I'm concerned about all the orange juice that I'm drinking because of all the sugar.
Okay, let me put you back on mute here. What you can do with that is there's a couple of things. One, you can mix it with just straight water, which is how I take it, but I also use the Immunical Boost, or what was the Optimizer, they changed the name, and to flavor it, or you can add our cherry concentrate to the water, and then mix your Immunical and Immunical Platinum with that, and that way you're not consuming all the orange juice. And like I say, prior to if I don't use the cherry concentrate or the Optimizer or Immunical Boost, I just mix it with plain water. So your thoughts on that, Dr. White?
Yeah, I take it with water plus the booster, and that makes a very good flavor. It works out very well.
Oh, okay, so we're back. I've unmuted the lines again, but that's because, like I said, I don't the orange. If you don't like orange juice or you don't want the sugar from the orange juice, that's a way to work around that. Okay.
I do use yogurt.
Yeah, you can also mix it in yogurt if you're a yogurt person.
Yeah.
As well.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if I can ask about the probiotics, Keith.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me go. The 306-550-7858. Go ahead.
Hi. So I'm asking about the probiotics.
Yes.
Now, they don't have to be in the fridge, and my understanding is that they're not real effective when they're not in the fridge. Okay. And I thought, well, we have the science, so it's okay. But today someone told me that they don't work for them, and when they use other brands, they do work.
Huh.
Okay. You don't want to store the probiotics where it's hot. Okay, just like you don't want to store the Immunical in the trunk of your car in the summertime in Arizona, and the same thing with the probiotics. I found the probiotics, quite honestly, to be very effective. So I don't know, Dr. White, you want to speak to that?
There are some strains of probiotic that have to be refrigerated. There's no way around that because they get damaged very fast with heat, even moderate heat. But they very carefully chose the strains for the Immunical one that doesn't require refrigeration. However, when I have them, I stick them in the fridge. Not because you need to, just because I think their life lasts longer. So it's just a preference, but not a necessity.
Okay, because I store when I open the bottle, I put them in the refrigerator as well. But I also store, the Contralenta in there and as well in the refrigerator. In fact, so there was that. So like I say, they don't have to be refrigerated, but I find them as very effective. And the way I know when I'm saying I find them to be very effective, if I happen to eat something that's going to cause me a little bit of heartburn, I can take 2 of those probiotics and it's gone. I don't have the heartburn. That's been my personal experience with that. So does that help you there with that question? With the probiotic?
Yes, thank you. I muted myself. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're more than welcome. All right. Who else has a thought, comment, or question tonight?
Keith, this is Janice, and
Yes,
I'm calling. Yeah, I'm listening into this wonderful call this evening, and Judy was the person that was speaking earlier had arthritis, or was diagnosed with it, and I know there's many different types. But when I was 28 years young, I was diagnosed with it because I had been in many car accidents, rear-end collisions, whiplash, and fallen off a horse a few different times. Anyway, at 28, I was working in the casino, standing up, being a dealer or a pit boss or what have you, and I was in pain. But you know what? Thank God you shared this with me back in the day, and I've been blessed ever since. I've never had to take painkillers and drugs and stuff that they try to prescribe for me, and I didn't know the side effect was going to be younger next year. So that's also another blessing.
Yeah, none of us knew it all that, but you and Sandra and Betty and Lori and a number of others are the poster girls, the pinup girls, if you will, the glow of Immunical and being on it for 20 years.
And one other great side effect is that when I used to work in the casino, because of this business, I haven't had to work in over 20 plus years. But when I used to work in the casino, I was always getting sick. I mean, everybody was sharing whatever they had with me, be either coughing or sneezing or touching things, and you touched it. And I got bronchitis every September of my birthday month, and I would be sick for 3 months. I had to sit up to sleep. So anyway, side effect, I don't get sick very often. If ever I get sick, thank God. And and I do thank God for this product. So, thank you.
Younger next year, and that is the point. If you're starting to feel bad, take a couple of more. So, all right. Who else has thoughts? Thank you, Janice. Who else has thoughts, comments, or questions?
Keith, may I add one more thing? In the years that I've been on Immunical, even after open heart surgery years ago, and that last thing, I never, and I say this emphatically, I never get a cold. I might sniffle a little bit, I might sneeze, but I haven't been sick per se in the last 10, 12, 11 years. So with that, I've given no thought to that. So just taken for granted. So obviously, Immunical built balanced my immune system to the point where I can fight off whatever comes in. And I'm around people who are sick all the time.
Right. And there's research out there when we talk about being sick, and you don't think of a cold as we think of a cold as an inconvenience. We think of the flu as simply being, to Judy's point, an irritant more, okay, of that, and all these little things. But the research says that if you get a cold, it cuts about a half a day off of your life expectancy. So if you have a cold and you have a cold for a week, it cuts about a half a day off of your about 6 to 12 hours off of your life expectancy. So every time you get a cold, you not only are you miserable for the time there, but you lost anywhere between 6 and 12 hours of life expectancy. If you get the flu, it's the same thing. If any of these things that occur have a detrimental effect to your overall life expectancy, and there's some very powerful research on that. So once again, that's what we talk about, younger next year and staying healthy. Okay, I unmuted everybody again because we had some noise there. Who else has thoughts or comments or questions tonight?
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have a friend of mine whose husband has migraine headaches. What can we do for that? Or what would you suggest? Extra sharp, really.
Half an ounce, a couple times a day, and the headaches are gone. Now that's 9 out of 10 people. And the best way to do it is simply take a half an ounce once or twice a day and never have the headaches again.
Okay. Great.
I have a friend, when I say had a friend, I have a friend, Mike, and when I introduced him to Extra Sharp was kind of a deal. I got the Extra Sharp the first day that the Extra Sharp came out. I had it, and I was going down the road. I was going one way on a two-lane on a highway, and he was going the other. And I called him, I turned around, I called him, I said, "Hey, Mike, I need to see you." He goes, "I'll see you tomorrow." And I go, "I'm right behind you." Okay, so he pulled over on the side of the two-lane highway, and I got out. I gave him some extra sharp. He made all kinds of ugly faces and said, "You're going to have to issue guns to people to sell this stuff the way it tasted." Okay, and he left. And within about an hour and a half, he's calling me, and he said, "Where are you at?" And I said, "I'm home." And he goes, "I need some of that stuff." And I go, "What stuff?" And he goes, "That nasty, tasting, terrible stuff." He goes, "I need 6 bottles." Okay? And the reason he needed 6 bottles is because he was on his way home to get his $12 migraine headache pill. Okay? And with the that wasn't covered by insurance, but this pill cost $12. I don't know what it is, but that's what he told me it cost. And by the time he got home, his headache was gone. He hasn't had a headache since, and that's been, I don't know, 15 years. And he was a severe migraine sufferer of migraine headaches, and we've got a number of people like that.
Was that half an ounce?
Good way to go with that. Okay.
So that was half an ounce twice a day. I didn't catch that.
Yep, half an ounce twice a day.
Where's the quote?
Now you don't want to take it for the migraine headache sufferers. Okay, but they don't want to take it after, say, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay.
Right. Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, because that's what you only do that with people that say, this stuff doesn't work. Great. Why don't you take some about 7 o'clock? Okay. We'll talk tomorrow and see what you think. Okay. But don't do that to anybody, seriously. But and until somebody is I really suggest somewhere between 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon for the last time for the day. Okay. But they can take a half an ounce a couple of times a day for the migraines. And even if they feel it coming on.
Do they only take it on migraine days?
Every day.
Take it every day. Well, Wally, you're there. You were a migraine headache sufferer. I hear you're there. Speak to that. Well,
That's from migraine.
But anyway, so we've had a lot of people. But no, you want to take it every day. There's a lot of other benefits to the Extra Sharp. Once again, we can't make medical claims, but it seems interesting that I know personally, including myself, 20 people that had elevated blood pressure. They started taking Extra Sharp and their blood pressure normalized. Have a couple of women that had low blood pressure started taking the Extra Sharp and their blood pressure normalized. Okay, so just one more of those additional products that we have in our lineup here. But for migraines, it's amazing. All right, the young lady another young lady, I think, had a question.
Yeah, that was me. My name is Teresa. I'm from Ohio, and I have a question that, yes, it has to do with platinum, but I'm sure there's something else, and I'm sure Dr. White needs to be pulled in on this one. I have a friend, actually I just met her on Facebook, but we became good friends, and she finally shared with me that she has a genetic mutation, which is the Marfan syndrome. You know I'm talking about, Dr. White.
Wait a minute. Okay. What's the number? What's the area code you're dialing in from, young lady? What's that again?
Area code 513.
Area code 513. Okay. Let me go ahead and mute everybody else out here, and I'll come back. I apologize. There we go. I think this is area code 513.
But also.
Okay, there you go. All right, now I found you. Okay, so your question is.
Okay, the platinum. This has to do with a friend that I met on Facebook. She has Marfan syndrome, and she had an MRI done I think last week, and she's had this for like 21 years, but it seems to be getting worse, and she has days of pain and everything, and they're under suspicion that she has a leak in her, I guess it's called the Durasac. But anyways, when they did the MRI, they also found that she has a cyst that's 1.4 centimeters, known as the Tarlov cyst. And so they're concerned because she started getting some bulging in one of her discs, and then they're afraid that if they have that, based on what she has, it could get worse. And so I told her I would do some research for her. So I was wondering, number one, if the platinum can come help and dissolve the cysts, because I know they've been very helpful with cysts, in other cases, and if there's something else.
If platinum or Immunocal shrinks cysts or tumors.
Okay.
Now,
so
what's her other challenge? What does she have? What kind of disease?
It's a Marfan syndrome. It's a connective tissue issue, and evidently it doesn't produce enough fibrin. But anyways, it can cause a lot of serious problems, and they're thinking that the sheath that is around her spinal cord and that holds the brain and it has the spinal fluid, they think that there's a leak in that, and it's been leaking for a while. Anyways, they have also, discovered on the MRI that it shows a Tarlov cyst, and that it's basically blowing up like a bubble on around her nerve root. And her particular cyst is on the S1 and also on between the L5 and S1 disc. It's protruding, and so they're really concerned about this because it seems to be really big now. And the doctors have said that if there's one, there's probably more. And if there is and it's down there, it can compress the nerve root, and she just doesn't want to lose her legs and being able to walk. Now, the bad part is that she was talking to a doctor, and she can't have a consultation with him for a few months, and maybe even if she has to have surgery, and evidently there's only one doctor in the United States that even does this, is successful with this surgery. And so we're talking about maybe even another year down the road. So my heart breaks for her, and I knew I was coming on to hear this, and I thought, okay, let me ask, you, Keith, and you, Dr. White.
Yeah, quick on the platinum, two minimum in a way, in that respect. But what you're trying to do is just shrink that disc, shrink the cyst on the disc. That's really important. On the leak question, that's probably one of the unknowns. But my suspicion is because the sheath is like muscle sheaths and sheath around the brain, these heal with the various items that are in the Immunocal and Platinum. So I think that both of them would help. But if she's got some time before the surgery is a possibility, in a way, get going on it, and then let's see if we don't get some progress in the process. Maybe it needs more, but 2 is a minimum.
Okay, all right. Well, that helps an awful lot, Dr. White, and I really appreciate this. I just feel so led to help her. So I hate seeing her in so much pain, and the cyst can get bigger, and it can cause her never to be able to walk again.
The other thing I would suggest, though, is the omega-3s. Get a fair bit of the omega-3 into her. The one that we have, the Immunotech omega-3, has a special contents around it, so that makes it more valuable than other brands that are on the market. So I would go extra on the omega-3s, unless she's got a heart that is irregular in beat. That's the only condition, and perhaps not. But those would be the 2 things I would suggest.
Okay, all right. So 2 minimum of the Platinum, or just the regular Immunical, and did you say 3 of the omega-3?
The omega-3s, the recommendation is 4 a day. Okay. I would suggest 4 2 times a day, so make it 8.
Okay, all righty.
Yeah.
All righty, I'll throw this out at her.
Have her journal how she feels now.
Do anything.
And then as she's on this journey.
Yeah.
Really appreciate
yes.
Okay.
Have her record it. Yep.
All right.
Very
I will.
Good.
Thank you. Okay. Now, all these other people. Okay.
Having a program, I think with a knee or something.
All right. Who else has thought, comments, or questions?
Then he said,
can I add one more thing?
Happened. I didn't hear that part. But I mean, I think 2 minimum.
Okay, I don't know who that is. That's there.
Hey, Keith?
That out. Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, on the K21, not K21, the Extra Shop, when you made that comment quite a few years ago, now I'm an avid reader, and I read before I go to bed, and I'm in bed reading. I have 2 or 3 books that I'm going through, and usually by 12 o'clock I start to wind down a little bit, and I took something. I said, well, I can't believe it could affect me that much. So I took it, and I was still reading at 3 o'clock in the morning, wide awake. So if you want to set something to keep you awake, if you want to read, by all means, chug along.
That's why we've got truck drivers that use it, that have such irregular hours of sleeping and need to stay awake at irregular hours, so that they love the Extra Sharp. All right. Anyone else? Judy, Judy MacDonald, any final thoughts, comments, questions as we wrap up tonight's call on your part?
Well, I just want to thank you for inviting me on the call again, and I just encourage everybody to anybody that's got friends or family with what we consider minor health issues, to, get them to try it. Do the 90-day trial. They don't have to be a consultant. They don't have to sign up. They can just be a customer and just to do the 90 days. That's what I encourage everyone to do.
Absolutely, and they want to be on your call tomorrow night. You'll be getting an email inviting you over to Judy's business call that she does every Thursday night at 7 o'clock Pacific. That's 7 Pacific and 10 o'clock Eastern. But every Thursday night regarding Immunical and the Immunitech business opportunity, because sometimes you're going to run into people who say, I can't afford it. Well, we have a way for them to get it for free, and they're going to want to tap into Judy's call. The best way to get those email notifications of that call is, once again, go to xyztools.com. That's www.xyztools.com. You'll see on that home page there's a link to sign up for our newsletter. The newsletter is the notifications of these calls. So do take advantage of that. Sign up on that. It's an automated system. You will get a confirming email, so it's a whitelisted email. So you'll sign up, and then you'll get a confirming confirmation. Don't forward that email on when you get it to someone else, because if they happen to unsubscribe, they're subscribing you out of the system. So with that, once again, you want to take advantage of what everything we have here, and Judy MacDonald does an excellent job on her Thursday night business calls as well. Anyone else? Thoughts, comments, or questions as we wrap up tonight?
Can I try something at the end here, Keith?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a bit of a celebration. I have a distributor out north of Edmonton, and she's approaching a person coming off chemotherapy in Calgary. And so, but the person said, before I take or sign up for Immunical or Platinum, I want to make sure my oncologist gives his blessing. So the question, what's that question you asked, Keith? What's the question you asked?
If your doctor received the Nobel Prize in medicine?
No, the other one about don't ask permission.
The top 3% of the class?
Don't ask for permission.
Yeah.
Ask the question, is there any reason why I should not be on this? Anyway, that's the question she asked him, and he's an oncologist in Calgary, right? And give him this real credit, and he said, there's no reason you shouldn't be on it. Go ahead. And boy, that's a celebration for Calgary, Alberta, an enlightened oncologist. Anyway, I want to let you have that call.
Once again, it's about how you ask. So if someone is asking their doctor about Immunical, it's how they phrase the question. Doctor, is there any reason I shouldn't take this product? The doctor will say, no, go ahead and take it. It's absolutely fine. If they phrase the question, doctor, should I take this product? The doctor's going to tell them, no, I don't think you should take it. The difference is, because if you ask him if he should, he's now recommending it, and it puts his malpractice insurance on the hook. And because it's not an approved protocol for whatever he's talking about, he just violated the medical ethics. So once again, that seems like it's something that really shouldn't matter, but it truly does. So when someone is going to talk to their doctor, whatever that healthcare professional is, the question is there any reason why I shouldn't take it? Okay, and all 99.9% of the time, the doctor will say, no, it's fine, go ahead and take it. Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for taking their time to being here with us. Once again, these are our Wednesday night product experience and training calls. You are what make these calls possible, and we look forward to talking to all of you again very soon. Good night, everybody from California.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks.
I'll see you.